Today I learned that Dr. Pepper is actually named of the person that made it. So what you're drinking is actually Dr. Pepper's Monster.
Hey, fun fans, what a feeling. We're doing FlashDance this week. We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Good morning. If you're listening to this in the morning, we're recording it in the morning. How's it going, everyone?
Man, FlashDance, what a feeling.
What a feeling.
This was
Did you see that the poster like doubled down on that song? Like if you look at the FlashDance poster, it says "What a Feeling" has a tagline. Okay. Except then lower down on the poster, it says, what is it? What is it? Find your passion, make it happen. It has
okay,
like
so
more.
It does more song lyrics.
Take your passion and make it happen. Yeah, so it's just putting all the lyrics of the song.
Eric and I hadn't seen FlashDance until we were called upon for this episode. So we'll be giving you our thoughts at the end of the episode as we recap 1983's FlashDance, an era when having a hit song was the thing. Like these romantic dramas, you needed the hit song, or action dramas, especially. And this was the beginning of the Bruckheimer Simpson era.
Well, also we'll talk obviously about FlashDance being a very MTV movie in an era where obviously that was a big part of the ecosystem. Well, yeah,
but that was
big song, big music video that shows clips from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
I think that's what one of the things that Bruckheimer and Simpson brought into cinema in the '80s with their hits too. Like that was just a big thing. But yeah, we'll talk about that at the end as we continue our 1983 run. And before that, so Eric, I went to another secret screening, which was only 2 weeks after the last one. This one was really quickly happened, and because of like how busy cinemas are right now, fitting that in on a random Monday night at this particular Alamo Drafthouse, they always it usually comes at the end of the month. But this was a very quick turnaround, and they did Class of Nukem High. I don't have a blind spot with trauma films, but I've only seen like 3 of them. This was one of them. Yeah, this was one of them back in the 80s that I definitely rented, but only had very, very small memories of. I was like, I remember the punks like riding motorcycles through the hallway. I remember there was a monster and stuff like that. Did you see Class of Nukem High?
I don't think I've ever seen it. No. When you tweeted it, for a second, I was mixing it up with a movie that I watched early in the pandemic for the first time, which is Class of 1984.
And that's why this was called Class of Nukem High, is because they wanted to sort of lean into the cult right that film. Yeah,
but I'm guessing Michael J. Fox is not in this one.
Like he's not, nor is anybody of any sort of reputation.
Right.
And so we saw that, and then and then finally caught Past Lives this weekend.
Oh yeah,
beautiful movie.
Hated it.
Yeah, terrible. Not once. No one entered the Speed Force, Eric. Why would I like this movie? There wasn't any multiverse. I didn't get to see any explosions. Yeah, it's so rare because we're so used to these days seeing these types of films at home, perhaps, even though A24 actually gets, because they actually have brand recognition now as a distributor, gets theatrical release in a way that other companies, even like Fox Searchlight or other places, like don't get. And but yeah, treat yourself, everyone, if you can. With Past Lives or another movie that's kind of quiet. And guaranteed people next door in the theater next door aren't going to hear anything going on in your movie, where people just sort of talk and feel and think and walk around the streets and stuff like that. There's a lot of walking around the streets in FlashDance too, but this has a lot of boisterous music.
Because you're referencing like when you Noisebleed, and a lot of people are joking about if you're watching Barbie in the auditorium next to Oppenheimer, if you'll hear like giant explosions. But this happens, obviously. Like you'll be watching a quiet movie and you hear like the gunfight in another movie.
I think it would be hilarious if you're watching Oppenheimer and something from fucking Barbie comes through. That would
right. Barbie girl. Really?
Yeah, like you just hear Aqua's song. Yeah.
Because a few weeks ago, tell me if I already told this story, but when I went to see Wrath of Becky, and at the City Walk AMC, which has it's 17 screens, but upstairs is 4 of them. Well, the 4 small screens and then the giant fucking IMAX screen. But I was in one of the small screens. Wrath of Becky was not on the IMAX screen. But suddenly I was hearing like all this like people yelling. Like for a second it sounded concerning. Like were people like, was there like something horrible happening?
Right.
And then but then it like died down and then it went up again and then I was like, and I just was trying to watch the movie. And then when I did finish the movie and I walked out and I saw what was happening, which is upstairs there's a bar and then they have fucking TVs, which are usually just playing movies on mute. They had like a basketball game on.
So they were watching.
They
were cheering for a sports. Yeah.
It was people. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're in a theater and you hear people screaming here in the year of our Lord 2023, you're going to be very concerned about what's going on out in the lobby. Yeah.
So I was like, Universal, don't do that. Let me just watch Wrath of Becky in peace.
And then before we get into quick news here, which is that, so yeah, Fire and Ice, which we did last time, it's so bizarre because it just sort of happened that we're doing 1983, that I really enjoy Fire and Ice, and that Fire and Ice is experiencing for its first time ever some type of resurgence.
I mean, it is funny that comic book is literally about to come out. Yeah,
I know. And so getting the full press, like you got the press release in your email, Eric, about like
I don't know if I did.
Oh, with all the different variant covers. And like he is like, oh, look at Lauren.
I don't think I did. Here, forward me this.
I will. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 or 2 or 3, I should say, alternate covers for.
Because I know I mentioned that some really great artists like Bill Sienkiewicz and people I really love are doing those covers. Yeah.
So it's crazy to see like Tigra and Dark Wolf and all these people. Even though it is supposed to be a prequel, I don't know how it's working out. But anyway, yeah. I think it's some of it's about the Ice Queen, that wolf bitch Juliana or whatever her name is, Julia. And then, but yeah, also a fact we didn't relay during our Fire and Ice recap is that it was such a dark time for animated film. Look no further than 1982, my picks for those movies, as far as like what passed for a children's animated feature back then.
And the time when Disney's floundering.
Before
Absolutely. The Little Mermaid and flounder. Hey, a few years later.
Look, there was a lot of cartoons going on. Saturday morning cartoons were huge. Most animation was on TV. Fire and Ice was the only American animated film that got a theatrical release in 1983. The only other movie that did that was a compilation of like Daffy Duck or one of the Ducks.
Okay.
Shorts that were just put together and put into a theater. And it was
no Crudes, no Trolls.
No, it was the only animated movie.
That's bizarre. And it
didn't even make $1 million, right? And arguably wasn't for kids, right? So okay. Let's get into the big news that just recently broke, which is that yes, there is an actor strike that's going to happen, and SAG is joining the WGA on the picket lines and will stop working and stop promoting. And so things are coming to a screeching halt, including a lot of stuff going on for SDCC, I assume. And
so we should mention, so we're recording this very early on a Thursday morning, so they have not officially like announced that, because they have to do this final vote. But it's gonna happen. Like, so Matt, I was up at midnight last night to see, it's like there was a bunch of, film Twitter was hopping at midnight last night because we were waiting for like, okay. And just because, every union is different and rules are different. When the writers' strike happened a few weeks ago, we knew the night of their final negotiations around like 8:30 or 9. It's like, well, we couldn't make a deal. We're striking. Wasn't the case here. Midnight kind of came and went and we weren't hearing anything. And then finally it was like, okay, yeah, they did not make a deal. But now today they have to do this one more formal vote, but it's going to happen because there is no deal. So.
Oh man,
crazy!
Find your passion, make it happen. Right? What a feeling!
After midnight,
we're gonna get on a strike.
Am I getting this? I hope I get these years right. So I think they're saying this is the first SAG strike since 1980, and the first time the writers and actors will be on strike together since 1960.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was the last time there was a simultaneous strike. So pretty crazy.
I love
crazy.
living through unprecedented times. It's great.
Yes.
All the time, it's stuff that is fairly new and mildly catastrophic or very catastrophic and fucks everything up. Yes, I don't know why the studios are being such butts. I mean, I do know why they're being such butts, because we're
Money.
in a nightmarish late stage capitalist society that can only,
where all you have to we have to say that every little drop of profit goes up, and we can't possibly.
Well, that's the whole thing about capitalism, is that businesses are only allowed to grow and can't shrink, and the stockholders are really the ones that the only one they answer to are the shareholders. It's not anyone else. And once you take things away, right? Like, because, in businesses, I was part of a company once that was private and went public. And the first thing you do when you go public is to appease shareholders, you have to cut costs.
Of course.
And those come with cutting health benefits and cutting overtime, and cutting basically employee benefits, and cutting the amount of people you can have on a shift, and cutting all this stuff. And once you take those away, you don't get those back, because where else would they cut from? You can't give back once you take away, because that's not capitalistic. So anyway, they're going to have to go against the extreme grain here to get anything done. And I don't know. It is funny because, you could argue that actors and writers are used to being broke. So it's kind of
yeah.
So it's who can hold out longer? The person, the people with the yachts, or the people, who are still eating instant ramen at home. So,
but the people at the yachts who are going to have to face quarterly, when yes, at this exact moment they're not feeling it, but once you start to have discernible drops, and suddenly the stockholders aren't happy, which is why it's got to be a long game, and that's why a lot of people think this could go the rest of the year. We'll see.
I mean, we may not know till September, because of that's when the quarterly shit will start coming out.
Yeah. But also it's it was a weird week, because, we knew that, yesterday, Wednesday, was the final day of negotiations before they would go on strike. And then this whole weird thing of using the trades as there's a lot of talk about how much are the trades sort of in the pocket of the studios.
They're in the pocket of the studios. Yeah.
Well, Deadline in particular always seems like the most shilly. And that article, there was two big articles on Tuesday. I think the first was Variety was the one that had the Iger, Zaslav, Sarandos stepping in to want to bring in an outside mediator to work this out thing. And then there was the Deadline article that was the studio heads just we are evil, or anonymous quote sources being we'll wait this out, because let's just wait for the writers to all be poor and lose their homes and not be able to pay for Christmas gifts. And it just was the most despicable stuff that, of course, all it's gonna, it backfired spectacularly, because of course it's just fuck you. Matt just said, it's we're used to being starving and struggling, so we're gonna keep doing this and fighting for this. And then the mediator thing, they also countered SAG, saying, hey, this is they're trying to make it look from a certain perspective. We have agreed to a mediator, but the main thing that was important was, but we're not going to agree to another extension, because the implication was, if they were a last minute mediator being brought in, they'd also do an extension, which is playing the studio's game, because it just gives them more time. Instead, it's no, we're going on strike, and we can still have negotiations. Right now, they're not happening for the writers. Maybe they will for the actors, but they will still actively be on strike. They will not be working while
so even things that were in production that had a quote unquote script and didn't need on-set writers or something like that, or help from the WGA, are going to stop.
Including we didn't put in the news here, but this week there was so much attention, understandably, to Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine costume. But that shuts down today. It's the Deadpool 3 cannot keep filming.
They're just going to film the costume, and then they'll CGI him in later.
Yeah.
So And then there was an Iger quote that floated this morning about him saying how the actors are being unreasonable and disruptive. And this is legendary Flashdance producer Bob Iger talking. So yeah, and then so he's getting flack for that because it's like, hey, guess what else is disruptive? Not paying.
Well, yeah, no, of course, because and the studio heads.
Maybe they should just shut the fuck up. Maybe everyone should shut the fuck up. I mean, that's always the extreme option that I think would be best.
But, you mentioned Comic-Con.
Being silent is free. It's crazy.
I mean, I understand. Like Iger just did an extension on his contract. He's sticking around, even though he was retired and then came back to help a little.
Yeah, guy who makes almost $30 million a year.
Yeah, and then the optics of that
makes huge new deal. Being unreasonable.
Yeah. And I could be like, hey, Iger's a very impressive CEO as far as like the successes he's had. That doesn't mean he's on the little guy's side. And then what you mentioned about Comic-Con, it is no matter what, Matt, this is a relief to just know. Nothing, again, this is so early in the day. I imagine later today, I'll start getting the emails about the cancellations on interviews I'd set up for Comic-Con. But it's been very stressful and hectic planning for Comic-Con, knowing that so many things we have set up are probably not going to happen, or might not. We didn't know. Maybe they would happen, but just having this uncertainty of, are these interviews that are on our schedule actually happening? The answer is going to be no.
Well, then that frees you up. That frees you up. It takes a lot of prep work off your plate. So, yeah.
I mean, we've had to come up with plan Bs and what are we doing at Comic-Con as far as like, how are we covering it?
We're going streaking.
It's going to be such a scaled back Comic-Con. It already was, even if there'd been no strike, because so many studios were sitting it out because of the fear of the strike. And you looked at the schedule and it was so much lighter when it came to movie and TV, but there was still some big TV stuff coming. Except now it won't. That doesn't mean there'll be no actors at Comic-Con, because writers and actors, the whole thing is that they can still do stuff like Comic-Con if it's not a studio panel. So they can do like group panels, like, women in film or like horror writing or something like that. They cannot go for an official studio panel for their show or movie. So that's gonna obviously take out a lot of the stuff that was there of what was already a very scaled back schedule. So
hopefully next Comic-Con during the Superman Legacy panel, we can hear from all these people. Yes. Just recently cast in Superman Legacy. This is following Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornswet being cast, Cornswet, no N, cast as Clark and Lois. I'm sure that all of these actors are going to be accepted with open arms and big smiles by the DC fan community, because they're so unilaterally accepting of everything that's going on in the movies. And so we've got Isabella Merced is playing Hawkgirl.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Eddie Gathegi playing Mr. Terrific. Now, I see this as a way. I didn't see any of the Twilight movies. I know he was in those. But I see this as redemption for his untimely death in X-Men First Class as Darwin.
I know a lot of people
that sort of like retroactively pissed a lot of people off years later.
Yeah.
Then we've got Anthony Kerrigan, who you would know from Gotham and most recently Barry, who played NoHo Hank on Barry, who is playing a Metamorpho, the elephant man. What if he was the elephant man? The Element Man. And then, surprise, surprise, no surprise at all, Nathan Fillion is joining a James Gunn movie, but this time with actually a bigger billing and possible, more appearances in the future than his other sort of stints with James Gunn recently. He was obviously the lead in Slither and stuff like that, but he's playing big time jerk of the Lantern Corps, Guy Gardner, as one of the Green Lanterns who may show up, or probably most likely will show up in the Lantern Corps TV series.
Yeah, which is because that series is focused on Hal Jordan and John Stewart, kind of the main heroic Green Lanterns in the comics.
The Earth Lanterns, right?
Yes, but Guy Gardner being a comedic and asshole foil often. Fillion playing him is very fun, very on brand for James Gunn, and yes, definitely seems like he could do have some fun stuff going forward. There's a very famous comic book moment from a great comic in the 80s called Justice League International that took a much more comedic take on the Justice League. The whole entire concept of Justice League International was kind of that it was a B team Justice League that didn't have like the big guns except for Batman, and didn't even have like the main Green Lantern that had Guy Gardner and Batman kind of having to deal with a bunch of like sort of losers.
Didn't he want to, or didn't he punch?
He punched Guy Gardner out. That's
Yeah.
I was gonna say is the one punch. I think is Blue Beetle is like one punch, where he just Guy Gardner won't shut the fuck up, and Batman just turns around and punches him, knocks him out. So I think James Gunn might give us that in a movie. We don't know who the actor playing Batman will be, but there's so many possibilities, and they have to cast a new one. But
exciting to see Anthony Kerrigan play another DC character after Zaz on Gotham, but he's so good as NoHo Hank. Every time I see him. And again, you and I joke about this when it's like an actor like is cast in a new thing, and then fans are like, "Oh, great, he's going to be like this," and just names the last thing they were in. But I kind of only want him to be NoHo Hank. Like, I only want every role he plays from now on as if that's his real accent as a person. It's not, but like,
right.
And I also come to I realize I've never Isabella Merced has been working. She's young, but she was on teen shows and stuff like that. I haven't seen anything she's in. So
really? I've seen I've seen one thing. I feel like I've seen two things. I saw that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne where she plays like the oldest sibling of like kids they like adopt.
I remember that. Yeah. That was like right before the pandemic too, right?
A year or two. But I saw both her team ups with Mark Wahlberg because I saw Transformers 5, which she was kind of the new plucky teen lead of. But she you're about to see a lot of her because she is in Madame Web, which has so many like notable young actresses.
Are we saying Madame, Eric?
Or Madame?
Are we really doing that?
No,
okay.
No, we're not. Madame Web.
Okay.
I fucked it up since I was a kid. That's like me when I was a kid saying Magneto or Magneto. Madame Web has like all these Dakota Johnson is the lead, but there's like all of these notable young actresses in it, and she's one of them. And there's a lot of speculation about who they're all playing. And she
like different multiverse people, you mean, or something like that,
or different women who have been like spider female characters.
Right,
there's a lot of.
But I know that Madame Web, helps connect a lot of.
Yeah. And then Alien. She's the new Alien movie. So she's got a shitload of like high profile stuff coming up.
I'm really stoked for the Fede Alvarez Alien. I can't wait.
Yeah. And then just I will also say this, that with the Superman casting, because this all sounds really fun, I understand there are some people who are like, whoa, what are all these characters doing? Wasn't the whole point that we get finally like a new Superman movie on his own?
This is not like the adventures of Superman, Hawkgirl, and like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
These are people that just because James Gunn has said that like the world is already just going to be populated by all the heroes.
Yes,
the full DC universe is going to be in this world. These are just going to be people you see in the movie. We don't know how big these roles are going to be.
I think most of them will be pretty small. I think it's just being like, hey, we there's no need to do a bunch of origin stories again. Not to say there'll be no origin stories, but Superman is not getting an origin story again. We want to establish that there's probably already a Justice League, already these things. All these actors, I'm sure, are being signed for big multi-picture TV show deals. I think I really feel like it will be a Superman movie that these characters will pop up in.
All right. For the in the interest of time, I'm going to skip over the one write-in from Isasio this week, and we'll save it for next time. And we're just going to get into our good things to enjoy. And then the flash dance of it all. What a feeling. Find your passion, make it happen. And what if that was the full title? It was just
there's like a bunch of colons.
Well, the Oscar-winning song is called Flashdance, What a Feeling. Flashdance, I think, ellipses, What a Feeling, even. Okay. And no one in the song ever says Flashdance, though. But yeah, it's implied. It's all implied. A Flashdance. Okay, Eric, what is your good thing to enjoy for this week? What did you see that you want to recommend to our listeners?
A movie that is in theaters, but because it's it's Focus, so Universal/Focus, is also on digital because they like to put things out as quickly as they can. They're the one studio still doing that, which is Asteroid City, the new Wes Anderson movie, which I saw in the theater a couple weeks ago, and Matt was recommending past lives and how, go see small movies in theaters too, which we both are proponents
Well,
of.
you recommended Past Lives first, but yeah.
But my point being, Asteroid City, although a huge cast, is a small budgeted, Wes Anderson movie. But I think it's worth seeing in the theater. His movies are obviously very visual in their own way. They're not bombastic, but they are very visual and interesting to look at. And Wes Anderson, I fucking love Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums, but then I started to go, I'd be hot and cold on. I didn't love everything he did, and Life Aquatic, I was like, and I really didn't like Darjeeling Limited. That was like definitely my least favorite of his. Although I loved Moonrise Kingdom, I was like, again, there was a couple that I was like okay on again. This is one of my favorites. I didn't kind of expect that going in, that this would be one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. He is an acquired taste. He's not for everyone. His purposeful quirkiness, his easy to meme and TikTok parody, even though you're not making a Wes Anderson movie, even if you think you are. I get it. It's both people are having fun with it and do enjoy it, but other people are like, I hate how manner that is. I hate the shtick of Wes Anderson. I enjoy it, and I especially enjoy it in a movie like this, where I think like there's a lot going on amongst the quirks. It's funny, I almost don't, even though the trailers have been out for a while on this movie, and you kind of know the gist of 1950s. It is this funny kind of parallel to Oppenheimer, because it's like 1950s tiny town in the desert near where they do atomic bomb testing, but its only claim to fame is that like an asteroid crashed there thousands of years before, which is like a minor tourist destination to see like a big hole in the ground. And the cast of quirky characters who stopped there for like a big like teen science brigade sort of contest that's going on. But what the trailers didn't tell you, and I've seen most reviews mention it, I'll mention it without saying the specifics, because I do think it's fun to discover that there's a metatextual level to this movie. This movie's operating on two levels, and that actors play more than one role in this movie. I really dug how that worked. I didn't know that at all.
Oh, I have no idea that this existed.
Yes,
well, I'm glad you're saying good things about it, because I think Wes Anderson films increasingly have become hard for reviewers to write about. And because he is so in his own ass, or in his own head, or however you're going to put it, leaning into his own style, almost parodying himself. Like other auteurs of his era, like Paul Thomas Anderson or David O. Russell, which started in a very specific way, but then branched out more and did different things in a way where it's like, that didn't feel like Magnolia at all, right? Like,
right.
He went further down his own rabbit hole and became. Yes. So I get really like Weezer Pinkerton shitty about Wes Anderson, which was like very much like you, which is like, he peaked with Royal Tenenbaums. So it's the apex. It's the best his style has ever been represented for me. And everything else after that has been decreased dividends. It's been sort of a lesser effect on me. I know a lot of people who really stand by Life Aquatic, but like, yeah, it's been hit or miss. And to the point where I just don't kind of even catch these movies anymore. So when I see reviews for Asteroid City, just like the pull quote is, "This is Wes Anderson and his most Wes Anderson." I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, are you recommending the movie or not? And it comes to the point where it's like, all you can do as a reviewer for a Wes Anderson movie is be like, if you like Wes Anderson, you'll like this Wes Anderson movie.
Right. Yes. Although that is a funny side tangent here for a second, then because I've noticed it happening a lot lately, which is like, this one's only for the fans, and they say it for Wes Anderson movies as much as they say it for like an MCU movie. And sometimes it just seems silly, because I'm like, okay, this new MCU movie is for people who like MCU movies. Well, no shit. Like, it's like, it's just a weird thing to say. It
is. That's why I can't get a hold of a lot of the reviews on this.
Right.
Which is that like, I mean, this looks funny, but I have seen some people say that it was meta. Yeah. But I didn't know it to what degree. So you explaining it, I guess.
It's very. There's a whole other interesting aspect to it. But I do think it's very funny. And again, comedy mileage will vary on what you find funny. This one made me laugh a lot. I was Max Cadying a couple times. just again, moments that hit me, and they won't hit everyone, but I thought they were very funny. Obviously, insane cast. A lot of the regulars. You got your Jason Schwartzmans and your Adrian Brody's and your Ed Norton's, but then you've got like Tom Hanks and Scarlett Johansson and huge actors who've not been in his stuff before. But and some people show up just for like one or two scenes. Jeffrey Wright's great in this movie. He has like this
He's a regular though.
He's the second one.
Yeah, he's in the second wave. Yeah.
Yes. But it's all great. And Margot Robbie, I'll just say, she has one scene and it's great. It's such a good scene. And there's one other Anderson recurring person who has it.
I hope she plays cameo. Oppenheimer.
Now, maybe
and she's come from the nuclear testing next door.
Right. I'm Robert Oppenheimer. That would be amazing. You know who's in this movie? And who did a couple songs for it?
I mean, I do, but who are you talking about?
Jarvis Cocker.
Pulp. The Weird Sisters. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw his name in the closing credits. There's a very funny character played by Rupert Friend, the Grand Inquisitor, plays a singing cowboy. And the songs he sings are written by Jarvis Cocker.
By the way, Jarvis Cocker, best British name you'll ever hear, best porn name you'll ever hear.
Yes.
Simultaneously. So yeah. Okay.
By the way, it's and something we'll talk about more with Flashdance in a minute, and we'll never tire of talking about because Hollywood will never stop doing it, which is inappropriate age gaps between male and female actors playing.
Oh, do I have something to say about Flashdance?
Yeah, but it is funny
watching it. Yeah, but yeah.
in Asteroid City, Rupert Friend has a flirtation going on with Maya Hawke's character. Now in real life, he's 41, she's 24. It's just funny because Maya Hawke is a funny case of someone who her most famous roles are still playing high school students. She's 24. She's playing a school teacher in this movie, which is realistic. It's just funny when she's got to go back to Stranger Things, like, and still play like, I'm working at the mall. Like, it's just like the dichotomy of these actors still playing.
I have a very specific instance in mind that I can't think of. There was a time when we watched somebody be an adult and then play a teenager, like big roles. I'm trying to think of it. Was it TV? I don't even remember who.
I even remember by the time Drew Barrymore did Scream, it was funny because she'd already been playing adult roles. So to see
that's not what I'm thinking of though. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying. Maybe it wasn't Juliette Lewis, or was it? I can't remember. It was something. I feel like it was a TV series where somebody was like, we just saw them playing an actual adult on a TV show, and then they were a high school student in the next afterward.
And sometimes it's done ironically, like there's that new movie Bottoms coming out.
Yeah, that looks great.
Which, the whole sort of joke of that movie is what's their names? The Rachel Sennett and Ayo Edebiri. How am I saying her name right? Edebiri.
I'm not sure. She's on The Bear.
Yeah, the two of them who are
an Emmy nomination. Yeah,
who are good friends in real life and have done a lot of comedy together are playing high school students in that movie, which is obviously not realistic, but that's kind of part of the joke right. Of it. Anyway, really like Asteroid City. Like I said, it is on digital. You could check it out on digital, but I think it's worth seeing in the theater. It looks great. His aesthetic with 1950s, like it obviously all this stuff has a like 1950s like catalog look anyway. That's kind of like part of the thing, and so it works very well with this. It really is it's Barbie meets Oppenheimer, Matt.
Yeah, this is celebrate Barbenheimer with. By the way, that's why the guy who curates the secret screenings, his name is James, picked Class of Nukem High because he was trying to like celebrate Barbenheimer month with something that with a cult film, and he found and for 100 secret screenings they'd never shown a trauma film, so he went to
when next we speak, Matt, next week podcast, I will have watched the New Beverly on Saturday. I'm going to a 80s action marathon, which is one of their mystery marathons. So
so you don't know what you're going to see.
Yeah, 4 80s action movies. Don't know what they are.
Are they good or shitty? Do we know?
They usually mix like high profile with niche cult stuff. Okay. So there'll probably be like a Lethal Weapon and then like some like a Van Damme. It'll be a big mix of stuff.
Man, I hope you watch Jim Cotta.
Oh, I mean that would be great.
Okay. My pick this week is a documentary that you can watch on Netflix. It wasn't intentionally picked because we're doing a 1983 movie. But just because I'd seen the trailers and I thought it looked really fun, and I realized I also didn't know that much about the band Wham, except that George Michael erupted from it as a huge solo star. Like,
yes,
Faith, that album sold like
insane.
I don't know, 25 million copies worldwide. It was massive. I think it sold more than like Nevermind and Pearl Jam's 10 combined or something. It was so big. And then his next one sold really well too. Anyway, he was mad. Also, Wham's big album sold 10 million copies. So the band Wham came to the States.
And that notably, of course, the other guy didn't go on to that kind
so
of
there's
success.
There's a rockers side story here, like the Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty of it all, which is like Andrew Ridgeley didn't go on after Wham to do anything of note. He lived his life. He had a very brief solo career. He did NASCAR. He did other things.
Hopefully, he made a lot off royalties. There was a lot of Wham songs.
Watching this documentary about Wham really did make me want to watch a larger documentary about George Michael, because it ends with Wham. It doesn't talk about obviously he's going to go on to do huge things solo, but it does end with Wham's final concert. But this was about Wham, and it gave me a lot of stuff I didn't know. At the time I was only 7, 8, or 9, like when the Wham stuff was happening. And they were very briefly a band, but they were very quickly a sensation, and they were big in England before they were big over here. They had a first album that was like a hit before they came over here with Wake Me Up Before You Go. And then obviously the song, if you're of a certain age and don't know who Wham is, probably Careless Whispers from Deadpool or other things, because also it's just an amazing song. And so is Everything She Wants. Like, Wham had some great songs. And Careless Whispers was actually co-written by Ridgeley and George Michael. But it's a sweet, sweet documentary about this friendship. They were friends since they were, I would just say like us, Eric, like since middle school. Like, they knew each other. And George was shy and reserved, or as his real name is fully Greek. Like Yoganos, just something really long in Greek, to the point where Andrew always called him Yog, like no matter what. And George Michael was the stage name he took. But he was shy and reserved, didn't know about his sexuality yet, and he wasn't even closeted yet, because he didn't even understand it. And just what great friends they were, and how Andrew was the outgoing one who wanted to start a band. He was the leader. He was like the one who was like into the fashion and into the stuff and the look and the whole idea of Wham and the dance and rap tunes that they were doing, because there are Wham raps, which was actually their first single, was Wham Rap 83 or something.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just really fun era to watch it, like how briefly they were a band and how quickly they rose up, and how, Eric, and we have no concept of this when we're kids, how young they were. So they're like 20. Right? They're like 20, 21, 19, 20, 21. And like George Michael's singing next to Elton John at Live Aid, or they're doing their version of We Are the World, which was Do They Know It's Christmas Time for Band Aid. And he's like with all these legendary singers and stuff like that. And it's just, it was a really good time capsule. And a lot of it was rare archival interviews. All these interviews that for it took place, they're all from the time it's happening. So it's not like a lot of modern talking heads giving you the story way back when. It's from the time. So I recommend Wham. It was a big cultural sensation that spawned a huge recording artist who sadly left us too soon. And it's a sweet story too, because there's no like ultimate bitterness. Like, there wasn't a huge rift and he's like, I'm going solo or something like that. It was just, it's really about how a friend bolstered another friend. And it's like, Andrew was there to get George to a place he needed to be and get him out of his shadow, and to sort of give him the confidence to become a creative force. And he was a better creative force than Andrew. And Andrew was just like, you know what? My role is to help him. And so it's I don't know. It's just not what you expect from like a behind the scenes story of a band that split. So I recommend Wham on Netflix.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about it, and it is one of those things where it's like, you kind of you know them, but I don't know that story, and I especially don't know much about Andrew Ridgeley, so I'm curious to watch that.
All right, next week, we teased it a little bit last week because Eric was pondering it too,
or did we threaten it?
Threaten it. Well, since I'm the one who picks like the weird, slow, ponderous sci-fi animated stuff. Next week's 1983 pick will be Krull, which I remember really liking as a kid, but, and I say this with an asterisk, that's all we had. It was either like it or there's nothing. So
I
it's
have
like,
the same memory.
I don't think it's necessarily a good movie. I just think it's like, hey, if it weren't for this, there would be nothing.
Right.
Instead of nothing, there's something, and that something was Krull. There's a cool weapon called a glaive, and from a concept standpoint, it's literally is sci-fi meets fantasy. It's kind of like the Cowboys and Aliens of its time, which is a weird movie to pull because it wasn't a hit, but like it's like a fantasy world with a kingdom and kings that and like a He-Man style world, and then monstrous aliens invade. So Krull, which sadly isn't available to stream anywhere. So anyone who actually rents it, thank you so much. Or pre-owns it, thank you even more for being a Krull head.
Krull heads unite.
But yeah, Krull is our no big stars in it. Liam Neeson actually has a supporting role, but that's about it, I think. I have to check. I don't think there's anyone else that's big. But yeah, and then let's get into Flashdance. What a feeling. Yeah, this was definitely the era when you needed that song. Whether you're Officer and a Gentleman or Top Gun or just a massive soundtrack, Footloose, like just accompanied all of these movies, and you needed that song because MTV, like, it was such a big thing. And this really had one of the biggest soundtracks of the 80s and an Oscar-winning song.
Two Oscar nominated songs.
Two got nominated, exactly. Yeah,
we did War Games a couple weeks ago and talked about how that was the 5th biggest movie of the year with 3 Oscar nominations. Well, Flashdance was the 3rd biggest movie of 1983, 4 Oscar nominations, and won one.
It only cost $7 million and it made like $200 million. So that was a huge profit margin. And this was a sensation. So looking back at it now, for the first time, Eric and I are watching this with 2023 eyes. I think you and I can recognize why this was a hit, but also we're like, couch that in our heads with like, this was a hit. Like
this was a massive giant.
That's the thing. I can understand if this made $50 million and it's like, hey, it was a modest hit. It only cost $7 million. It made money. This was a blockbuster.
This was like a giant movie. Like that everyone was going to see.
And I'm like, what was it when people in the theater, when they're watching that really got them? And it was like, I'm going to see this again, because when you make $200 million in 83, people are seeing this again.
Yes.
This is crazy. This movie is crazy.
And its opening credits, by the way, really threw me. I knew Adrian Lyne directed it. And we'll talk more about him and the fact that his career is mostly.
Is he Adrian Lynn or Lyne?
Oh, I don't know.
Is this a Madame Web situation? Yeah, I've always said Lynn. So
Adrian Madame. Anyway, his career, if you look at he is known for making sexy sex movies about people who have sex. 9.5 Weeks, Fatal Attraction, Decent Proposal, Lolita, Unfaithful. Now, obviously, a lot of those movies I mentioned have other like things happening in them, but there's still like sex.
He also has he usually also with Fatal Attraction and something like Jacob's Ladder has a thriller element. To it. This was his first theatrical movie.
No, he did Foxes, I thought, before this.
Okay. I thought he came really from like directing commercials and
he did. Yeah, that was his background. We'll talk about that, but also, and then he did Jacob's Ladder as like an outlier. But so I knew he directed this, but the names that really threw me in the opening were Joe Eszterhas writing it. Let's
talk about Joe Eszterhas.
Yeah,
the Vince McMahon of the erotic thriller world of the 80s and 90s, which
just
is like,
such a character,
just such an ass, just such a fucking like 8-year-old's version of what sexuality is, asshole, who made hit movies. And he and Shane Black back then were the ones who were like sold. Didn't he sell a treatment for $1 million or something?
So, yeah, and he sold Basic Instinct for $3 million, Showgirls for $2 million. All this fucking money he was making, and he would be very bombastic and brag about it, like, and get into like pissing wars with other writers over who's making more money on their scripts. So that really threw me that he wrote this, and then the double producer like partnerships, the fact that John Peters and Peter Guber produced this, that John Peters, who a lot of people know because of the Kevin Smith stories, and now Bradley Cooper played him in Licorice Pizza, and he's got a whole like all these guys. Matt, what's really funny is they all are bigger than life, like they're behind the scenes guys that still have like huge out personas. So you've got those guys, and then that this was the first
The
Bruckheimer
first
Simpson movie.
Simpson Bruckheimer movie, which started a huge era, and the hits didn't stop. The hits didn't stop coming for these two for a long time.
Mostly action though, so this is still like a little bit different of a first thing for them.
Just the weird story of Esterhaus, the two different stories that Esterhaus and Iger have about the casting process. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, I've always heard we went around to all the crew guys one.
He's such a
the Esterhaus version. Yeah,
he's such a cheese dick. Oh my god.
I mean, we should tell this. We should say.
So the story is that Iger said we showed the 3 casting finalists for the Alex role to women to see which one appealed to them more. But Esterhaus said, no, we went to all the rough, burly, rugged, macho crew members on set and said, which one do you want to fuck?
Who's most fuckable?
Oh,
and Jennifer Beals won.
He's the worst. This guy's the worst. Anyway,
Demi Moore being the finalists were an actress named Leslie Wing, and then Demi Moore were the other 2 finalists.
I will say this: at some point, I am very much.
Oh, it wasn't Iger, by the way. It was Eisner.
Michael Eisner.
Different future head of Disney.
Oh, then strike my comment earlier from the strike conversation about Bob Iger.
I was confused when you said that, and I thought maybe there's something I don't know.
I was getting my Disney's mixed up. I was getting my Disney Eigs mixed up.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the fact that Phoebe Cates, Mia Sara, and Jessica Biel never starred in a film together, just for me, and then combined to make like devastatingly beautiful 1980s Devastator is upsetting. So anyway,
wait, say the people again. Phoebe Cates,
Mia Sara, and Jessica Biel. Oh no, Jessica. See, so I'm gonna mess this up a lot
because your
Jennifer Beals.
Yeah, Jessica Biel was throwing me because I'm like, she's such a different generation.
No. I am going to. By the way, precursor to the Flashdance discussion, I'm going to say Jessica Biel a lot when I mean Jennifer Beals.
Okay.
It's just something I can't stop doing, and I've tried, and now I've given up. So
I don't.
Jennifer Beals, yeah.
So I do not want to be a Joe Esterhaus in this life. So what I will say about Jennifer Beals is, as a kid, again, never saw this movie, but you couldn't, of course, you were very aware of its existence because it was a pop culture just giant.
Well, and we saw the videos.
We saw the VHS tapes, we saw the music videos, we saw the poster, the iconic poster with her sitting in the torn sweatshirt. You knew, I clips of her, the maniac with the leg warmers. So it was all like around us. When I was young, I didn't think, like, in just out of context, there was Jennifer Beals wasn't like I particularly attractive to me, and now I watch it, I'm like, oh my god, she's so beautiful. Like oh, no, I would just say, little Eric was dumb is my main point about
little Eric was a fool.
Yes.
Little Matt knew what was up. Little Matt was like this Jennifer Beals, aka Jessica Biel, is very attractive. Yes. And so much of this movie became like an aesthetic as far as that sweatshirt and the dance gear. And, at-home video aerobics was a big thing in the 80s, especially with the Jane Fonda workout videos. So just like leotards and leg warmers and stuff like that became its own fashion in a way. And this movie really helped that as well.
Yeah, this movie didn't introduce like wearing leg warmers, but it certainly made it a giant, like extra huge thing,
So Flashdance, what a feeling. This movie... I guess I knew what it was about. I thought there was a dance sequence in the middle of this movie that actually incorporated her welding career. Like she had a mask on. I thought she was going to come out as a sexy welder.
I thought the
welder, but she doesn't turn it into a dance routine.
I
knew the water. Yeah.
Yeah, the water. I was going to say that. I thought the water was somehow part of a welding dance routine. Yeah.
It turns out the water was actually part of a "you can't do this on television" dance routine. And then the green.
Look, people who know what he's referencing, they know that's very funny.
Okay. I will kick this conversation off by saying, I don't know if you saw my tweet about this, which is that everything, and this is a movie thing, not just a Flashdance thing, but it's a movie thing, which is like the apartment that's supposed to be run down or something is often would sell for $2 million. Anything that's supposed to be a converted firehouse or a warehouse or a loft or something that's supposed to indicate like artist poverty or struggling lifestyle is actually super expensive. All this to say, Alex, the character in this movie, we're introduced to her. she is a welder. She like works at a steel mill with like sparks and fire and like heavy machinery and heavy metals and stuff like that. And then she goes home, teaches herself to dance every style. Never having formal training, just is an expert, natural wonder expert at doing and mimicking all these styles. Lives in a converted warehouse with an amazing amount of square footage, has an awesome dog named Grunt, and has like 24 or more plants. She would be a TikTok sensation in 2023. She would absolutely be an Instagram influencer, and all she would have to do is come out, weld things, and be attractive, and like show people about plant care and show people her living situation and her loft, and like she would be able to sell fucking coffee and moisturizer and welding. I don't know, accessories. I don't know, but her dream of being a ballerina seems so much more banal and bland, and actually a step down from this awesome, cool life that she's living in the moment. You know how much welders make? She makes so much money welding. She wouldn't have to dance at night. But yeah.
I don't think I remember welding specifically. I just knew she was in construction. And then everyone thought it was very silly because she's this gorgeous young woman who's an aspiring dancer, but then she's making ends meet, not working at a diner, not working.
She has a valuable trade that takes training.
She has a valuable trade that many people have pointed out she would be way too young to have gotten even like
this movie took a serious turn for me when we get to the part just like probably 15 minutes into the movie where she's talking to her mentor. By the way, we never learn a thing about Alex's backstory except she's from Altoona and she knows this old dancer woman. Nothing. Like we see a picture with what we think is her brother, but like, is he dead? Is she doing this for her dead brother? Is like there a backstory where she's like, I don't know. We never learned it. We learned more about Michael Nuri's character than we learned about her.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously I think I have to concentrate here. Jennifer Beals. When I know she was like 20 or 21 when she made this movie. She's young. I'm assuming going into this, I'm looking at a 23-year-old.
Yes.
When the woman says that she is 18, I flipped. The movie just felt completely different for me.
Yeah,
be 18 and be a professional welder.
She's just out of high school. Like, how is this?
Well, she didn't go to high school, I assume. But like,
I mean, I assume she did. But no matter what, she would have been like just graduated, like at 18. So
and look, it's all like, you know, there are degrees of uncomfortableness when it comes to the male-female, May December romances. But like a late 30s Michael Nuri and an 18-year-old.
Yes.
Or like, and he's her boss,
which is weird because the movie there is enough awareness to have her bring that up. Be like, I'm not going to date my boss, so you can give it this tiny early smidgen of credit for that. She's like, hey, I'm not going to date my boss, even though their age difference is never brought up. Now, of course, all that will be thrown out. She's going to date him, and it's just like, yeah, this divorced guy pushing 40, and this kid out of high school, if she went to high school. It is bizarre.
It's weird
how it was back then, I guess, in a movie.
Okay, the other thing that's I'm just saying that there are things that are falsely represented in this movie.
What?
No, I'm talking about her lifestyle. Her lifestyle.
No,
that place would sell for a lot of money. It would be heavily sought after space for a business or an artist or something like that. And it doesn't matter that it's in by the rotten train tracks. That adds that people are gentrifying all over the place. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then she, her cute dog and I'm just saying her life is like something people would aspire to.
No, yeah, she's aspirational. Yeah.
And except that she has a dream of being something better, and that thing that's better feels like like I said, a step down. So the premise of the movie, it takes a huge buy-in decades later. At the time, maybe we're like,
I don't know about step down as far as like, hey, if you have a dream, you got a dream, Matt. So if she wants to be a ballerina,
well, I've never told you about my secret dream, Eric, which is to make it big in Los Angeles as a stand-up comic that tells nothing but offensive Polish,
but offensive and laughs hysterically
and laughs after every punchline. Like
that was the worst part to me. I really hated him for that. So I think you can still,
that guy is definitely complaining in his sets about cancel culture these days.
100%. You can still be like, hey, she wants to be a ballerina, no matter, but the fact that yes, she seems to like the place she lives, but people did joke about that back then. Like,
okay, I wasn't. I didn't know what the discourse was then because there was no online. But like, I also feel like if we had learned something about her backstory about the ballet and something it was always her mother's dream or something.
Yeah.
Something to like get us there a little better. And because we're going, she goes to like, she chickens out of an audition process early on or an application process even, because she doesn't feel like she fits in with all the people in leg warmers. And I'm like, she looks better than all these people. It just feels like it doesn't feel like company that's better than her. And so there is a little bit of a mental stretching here with that. And the other aspect is the fact that at night, there's this weird unicorn rare bar that exists in Pittsburgh.
What does she? Yeah, the place she works at is so weird.
It's not filled with creeps. No, nope. Except for Johnny C, I guess. Oh, side note, I just want to bring this up. The guy who plays Johnny C is actually the front man of a LA band called Fear, who is very, very sort of well known in the cult punk world. Mm-hmm. I remember them from their infamous SNL.
He was very familiar. Oh, that's he missed her body in Clue, of course.
Yeah. So Fear played a very, very early on. Donald Pleasance hosted Saturday Night Live episode. They were the musical guests for a Halloween episode that Donald Pleasance hosted that I remember seeing on old Comedy Central reruns, where they just like, there was like a mosh pit and Jim Belushi was part of it.
Not John Belushi, Jim?
Jim, John, okay. Jessica Biel, Jennifer Beals. It's all these people need to like
Madame Webb. They were all there.
These people's names need. I have notes on them. They need a second pass. They need to like be not so similar. Okay, so, but yeah, so she's not doing a stripper show, right? Because there's a titty bar that this guy owns, Johnny C owns, called Zanzibar's, where poor guy has to like busker outside, like hot nude ladies inside, like all day long. 6 beautiful girls come in. It's only 11 a.m. This is burlesque. They do burlesque routines. Like they are elaborate. They have costumes.
No, that's the thing. This is a huge production.
That's and knowing some burlesque people, this is an art. Like burlesque is an art form. And maybe it's not what she wants to do, but this is not bottom barrel. This is actually the world of burlesque. The thing she does later on in the movie, much less the falling water, like how they rig that. And I understand that's like a splashy way, pun intended, to open this movie. But like the one she does at the end with the TV and the strobe lights and the thing, that takes like months of rehearsal and setup. Like compared to like other burlesque routines, like that is extremely like top tier. And so this is also supposed to be projected as a less than ideal way to make a living, when it is many people's way of making a living unashamedly, right? Burlesque is a world.
It's just weird that in the movie, when we're first introduced to it, and it's like all guys in the audience, the only girls are the people who work there. So it feels like it's going to be like a strip club, but it's not. Later on, there's a strip club, like you said, represented by Johnny C. But it turns out to be these elaborate, very all these talented dancers and their talented choreography. Burlesque things are things that people like couples go to and stuff. So it is just funny, the dichotomy between that this is like the low rent life.
So everything we're being presented about Alex is awesome. Like both of her professions are great.
Right.
And so you do have to go with this movie that she needs something quote unquote more in her life. Maybe she wants the world travel. That was selling me. Maybe she wants the world travel of a ballerina. By the way, the movie ends with us just assuming she got the dancing position.
I failed. She runs.
She's like, I did my best. Womp womp, and she gets roses or something. Like we're just supposed to know by the fact that she left
smiling.
Dancing. Also, compared to her burlesque routines at this bar, that final dance number to What a Feeling Again, that's supposed to get the judges like happy
attention,
very flat. Like,
I mean,
this was
fine.
as
It's
a
trying to be a
closing-
mashup. It's trying to be like a mashup of genres. Like she put some breakdancing in and whatnot. But
yeah, but
yeah,
like,
it doesn't make the big, impact that the earlier
also,
ones did.
Sandwich Woman is there, like the woman who's taking
The
applications.
secretary, who,
Yeah,
by
like-
the way, was driving me crazy what I knew her from. And then I realized she is the new substitute teacher brought in summer school when Freddie is fired, who they play the prank on where they all look like they've been horribly massacred and she's screaming.
Also, just to let you know that one of the judges is a dork. He has a cold and or allergies.
Right.
Because that's why Meg
Nerd
Ryan
alert.
left Bill Pullman in Sleepless in Seattle. It's because he had, poor bastard, had allergies. She'd much rather
And that
go
was
off.
Sandra Bullock. You are all over the place today.
No,
Meg Ryan?
Meg Ryan.
Oh, no,
in
I'm sorry.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was while you were sleeping. I
Wow.
pulled a...
Well, it does feel good to be the person not fucking up this time.
It's a switchback.
Yeah. You're thinking of while you were sleeping. But yeah. And Bill Pullman actually
Gets the girl in
movie.
that. No,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a double fuck up on my part. That was a rare Pullman
This
win.
This one they fridged Peter Gallagher.
Right. For Bill Pullman.
Okay, so or momentarily fridged him because he got out of his coma eventually. But yeah, so anyway, this movie, okay, now let's just get into the story of this movie, which it isn't a hefty story.
It's very vignette-y. It's very
there's a lot
slice of life.
Here's the other thing. It's a tight 90. And when you really need a movie to make that 90-minute mark, at least, you're going to have like, hey, what if she and her friend just walked around the city a lot and she plays around with a traffic cop
and she
and
sees
mimes,
breakdancers.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
It's not too much going on here, so much so that they actually give other characters little bits of side stories where her friend wants to be in the ice show and does an ice skating trial.
And then just fucks up, and I guess that's it for her.
to another big hit song, and it's funny that they're playing Gloria while she fucks up. It's not a triumphant moment for her.
No.
And that the song keeps playing while she's sitting on the ice and being sad.
And everyone's silent, dead silent. Here's the thing. This movie looks great. Like Adrian Lyne, we were mentioning his commercial background, and we're like, we're too early, even though MTV exists, and this is an quote unquote MTV movie. He's not, it's too early for him to have become raised up on directing music videos, but he is definitely of the time as far as like the, no pun intended, flashy look of this movie. It looks great. All these dance numbers that are like, very like a spotlight and everything's dark around, and it, great like stills of how this movie looks. And that scene is so, like the Gloria scene, it suddenly feels so dark. Like, yeah, it's like she hurts herself.
I also want to point out that this character's, what's her friend's name? Jeannie.
Not
the
Tina
waitress.
Tech.
Yeah, not Tina Tech, who is Cynthia Rhodes.
From
Jeannie,
FlashDance. Some Dirty Dancing.
Jeannie, who's a waitress, not a dancer, but wants to be an ice skater. Her dad, who makes a nice little arc in this movie as far as like the disapproving dad who doesn't think she should do anything she wants to do, especially ice skate, but then after she fails is very loving and kind and supportive. Was the original Seinfeld dad, the one who appears in the second episode of Seinfeld, for only appearance by this one guy before they recast the dad. This is, so if you remember the first Morty Seinfeld, that's this guy.
I'll do one. Hey, it's that guy, which is I spotted Robert Wool as one of the regulars, and I thought, hey, so maybe that's how he ended up in Batman years later, another John Peters Peter Goober movie. That was their reunion after.
Maybe.
FlashDance.
I actually wondered at the time if Robert Wool was weirdly playing himself the first time I saw him, because he's a stand-up. Like Robert Wool is a stand-up comedian before he was in movies and Arliss and stuff like that. But like, is this another stand-up watching the guy do stand-up? But then I was like, no, he's just a guy in the place.
Just a cheering guy.
This guy Richie, his whole like, and if you want to know what stand-up comedy was kind of like in the 80s, it's just making fun of other cultures, races, ethnicities, and marginalized communities, and then laughing at your own jokes.
Right.
And it's like, that's it. I don't know if it's also a Pittsburgh thing just to make fun of Polish people so much, but like, or if it was an 80s thing, or if it was a Joe Esterhaus thing. I don't know. But like, and also that stand-up was, I can get up and just tell a joke and then follow it with a joke and then read jokes off of a card instead of actually having a conversation.
No storytelling, no anything. Yeah. When he's introduced, he's the cook making these terrible, really bad, like has in not funny and also racist jokes, and then laughing hysterically at them. I'm like, oh, we're supposed to hate him, but then it turns out we're supposed to be like, oh, he's a sympathetic, lovable guy.
Yeah, we should be rooting for him to make it big. But also, Jeannie loves him. Like, there are a couple. Jeannie, by the way, so his story ends, I guess, with him just not making it to LA, and he comes back.
Yeah, it's his off-screen arc. Yeah,
but then her arc ends with her just crying in the rain, scrambling for money after she's dragged out of Johnny C's strip club, and we don't see her again. Like, she's not there to like.
That's just life, man.
Like, because there's a whole part at the end where she has to contemplate if she's going to go through with the audition because she's so mad at Nick. And that scene is solved by A, the death of her mentor, the old woman Hannah, and B, her sitting and smoking and looking off into the distance and thinking.
Right.
But like, this could have been a scene where Jenny, because she helped Jenny get out of a bad situation, could have been a scene where she came back and gave her some words of wisdom. But that didn't happen. We're basically, we leave her story, Jeannie's story, when she's at rock bottom, and then we never see her again. So
again, life in Pittsburgh, man, or just
life in a steel town. So let's bring up Michael Nouri, who plays her boss / boyfriend in this movie. By the way, that never stops. She never stops working for him. Like, I think she just keeps welding. Is that I wouldn't know him because I didn't see this movie. I wouldn't know him till The Hidden.
The Hidden's the thing. The Hidden's what I mainly know him from. Yeah,
and that's still what I mainly know him from.
Same here.
Damages and Hidden.
I see he did 3 seasons of Yellowstone in a recurring role, which makes me assume they killed him off eventually.
Maybe he's replacing Kevin Costner.
Right.
They're like, hey, remember how your role was recurring? Guess what? But yeah, this is when. So the whole thing is. She goes home. She dances to "Maniac," the other Oscar-nominated song for this movie, which would have been the music video I saw. I don't know. I don't remember really seeing a lot of What a Feeling, but I remember seeing the "Maniac" video. And he's okay. So then he sees her do her "You Can't Do This on Television" dance, and he's taken with her. And the guy next to him, who's sitting with him, and has to tell him that's like, she works for you, is one of the weirdest, creepiest guys in recent movie memory.
Now I gotta look back. Yeah. Okay,
so while Michael Nouri's Nick is watching her on stage, this guy is watching Nick watch her. Like, It's kind of like
her. This is the water falling dance.
Yeah. So there's this guy next to him who wants him to see her, and it's like, when we show friends our favorite TV shows or movies, and we like want to see, like, make sure that they like, you liking this? You watching this? You peek over at them to see that they're enjoying. This is what this guy's doing. Then he's memorized her social security number and tells it to him. like this guy needs to be on the list somewhere, some sort of watch list, some sort of neighborhood boundary list.
I gotta look back and find this guy.
I don't know who he never appears again, as far as I know, but he like tells her social security number and then tells him and then says, she works for you. Then this guy's smitten with her and comes up to her at work and is like, calls her, hey, dancer, and they have sort of a flirtation, but at this point she's still like, I'm not gonna date you. And but very soon into this, we learn she's 18. This is when Hannah brings it out. And I'm like, this is insane. Also, she's randomly religious. So there's 2 scenes in this movie where she goes to confession.
Yeah.
And nothing comes out of these scenes, by the way. They don't advance the plot at all. This is more like, hey, this movie has to be 90 minutes. I don't know.
And it's weird because they do a thing like, one of her confessions is, I've been thinking about sex a lot. So it's like, oh, she's like forceful woman of the now, and she can have her own sexual needs. But
I guess if there's one good thing we could say about, first of all, I think Basic Instinct is a pretty good movie.
It is.
Joe Esterhaus, if there's anything he could be credited for, is that he did not slut shame. Like his female characters were very sexually forward and active and confident. And so there's that. And she is, Alex is that. And even though she's all of 18 and she's like, hey, want to go fuck in a phone booth? It's that's something that Joe Esterhaus has in every one of his movies, as far as I know.
true. What is funny with this movie, when I was mentioning Adrian Lyne's, resume up front, is that this movie is interesting and different compared to most of Adrian Lyne movies to follow, in that there aren't actually sex scenes. And Joe Esther has. There are scenes where they kiss and then they cut to the next morning and them in bed with the sheets around them. So it is funny that this movie, which was an R-rated movie, and there's nudity in the strip club scenes, so it's not like they couldn't have included
it's an 80s movie, so you got to get them titties in somewhere. Like,
yes. But this movie, unlike both the writer and director's later films, doesn't actually have sex scenes per se.
Basic Instinct has sex scenes, but yeah.
Oh, no. But obviously Showgirls does, and yeah, like, most
Showgirls has the most realistic sex scenes.
Yes.
So, but yeah, and I'm gonna. I get messed up every time you say Adrian Lyne because I say Adrian Lyne. By the way, I am very curious to still watch the movie he directed after 20 years of not making movies. The Ben Affleck,
one,
Ana de Armas movie that came out on Prime Video.
It was Hulu, because it was a Disney. It was 20th century one that was supposed to be theatrical.
Yeah. So that's still out there. That movie. I don't even know what people thought of it, but yeah, he directed it after like not directing for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, weirdly religious. By the way, these confession scenes could have been a great way to learn something about her.
Right.
She could tell the priest about her upbringing, her backstory, or why she wants to be a ballerina. None of that. None of it happens. She just keeps working. He keeps asking her out. Then it's just like you said, slice of life stuff. We learn about Johnny C's Zanzibar Club. They're doing laundry. We learn about the other dancers, like life. Like one of them's waiting for this guy to call. And by the way, we do get a payoff for her. The guy calls her at the end, and the joke is supposed to be he's some idiot schlub that she's like all worried and anxious over, like that does he like me or doesn't he like me or something like that. And then there's that random scene at the end where another push toward her being convinced to audition is like talking to another dancer. I don't think it's Tina Tech, it's someone else, where it's just like talking to someone whose dreams they've given up on their dreams.
Oh, it's not Tina. Yeah, it's someone else.
It's someone else who we hadn't spent a lot of time with, by the way. It's just someone she talks to at the end who kind of is one of the people that helps her make a decision to audition. But yeah, there's a lot of like Johnny C grabbing her ass and then trying to actively like rape her, kidnap her and rape her.
Yeah, like, and Richie gets beat up, and then that's how her and Nick get together, because Nick helps them. But then super creepy, because he offers her a ride home. She's like, I have my bicycle, and then he literally follows her like a fucking creep. Like he slowly drives behind her.
I didn't know if that was. I think it was half creepy, half being protective, but he was also still creepy.
Yeah,
and. Then basically, eventually, this was like, they get to have a date after the failed ice skate test, which he accompanies her to. They actually have a pizza date. He's going to leave at one point. I don't know why, which is
that's
weird.
So weird. Yeah. And then she stops him. Yeah.
Because she's literally in the process of taking off her bra and panties underneath a giant sweatshirt.
And he gets an hysterical, whoa, like she's doing it really casually. She's like talking to him and pulling her bra off under her sweatshirt, and he does like a, oh my golly, like eyes bugging out.
He's like boo 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 boo. It's like, my ex-wife never took off her underwear when we had sex. It's crazy. And then it's like we also have to like figure out for ourselves what feels good inside for our own personal watching experience, like how long this movie takes place. Is it over weeks, over months?
Yeah,
I know we eventually get to Halloween.
Richie goes to LA and comes back,
so that's what I mean, because how long are they actually seeing each other? And because the first time, like they're walking along the train tracks, and then they go to this abandoned factory, which we learned from his ex-wife is where he takes all of his first dates, which sounds like serial killer behavior, but
again with the car, he is a serial killer. Also, this movie, a lot of great songs, huge hit album, 2 original songs that were great and catchy, established songs like Gloria and I Love Rock and Roll, but a very, very, very bad and cheesy, but made me laugh, love song, the montage of We're in Love Now as they walk on the train tracks. And yeah.
Theirs probably wasn't cheesy back then, but now.
No. A lot of those songs still hold up. That one does not.
And so Nick, again, we learn more about him than we do about Alex, which is that he grew up poor. He actually used to steal hubcaps with Johnny C. which is why Johnny C resents him now. It's like
now they've got dueling
and they've
clubs.
got beef. They've got beef dueling clubs. Well, he doesn't own the club. He owns the steel mill.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Maybe he owns the club. We only know the guy who works the club named Jake, who does the best thing in the movie, which is he punches Richie in the stomach. But we know that
it would be very funny if Nick's like, I'm your double boss.
so we're gonna double date. But we know he's rich because he always has a scarf. He's running through the factory, scarf.
He's very Michael Nouri. I'm sure they were up for the same roles. The very Chris Sarandon-y.
He is, and if their names were any more similar, I would be doing the Jennifer Beals, Jessica Biel with him and Chris Sarandon, because in my head I'm like, oh, the guy from Child's Play. No, that's Chris Sarandon. That's not Humperdinck. Okay, then we get more. It's just kind of more. Then the movie just kind of hovers around for a while, and we get another expensive that TV. MTV style where her face is painted white.
My notes, Matt, are I mean this costume and makeup in front of the TV. This is a production.
No, it is. It's a production, and it's something. And also, it's not. There's no titillating aspect to this dance, particularly. Like I don't think she strips or gets down, which is part of burlesque. It's part of the art experience, and so this is just more like, literally is like. Performance art. It has nothing to do with like any of the other dancing that's going on at the bar.
Because let's face it, Adrian Lyne, there's a lot of close-ups of Jennifer Beals' ass in this movie. It's like the camera is constantly going up and down her body, and how much of that is admiring her dancing, and how much of that is just like check out her body,
which makes it so much more comfortable when you learn that she's 18 in the movie.
We should also mention, by the way, the very obvious doubling that she's not doing the big dancing.
Oh yeah. So that's the thing, is like kind of like a lot of the BMX, a lot of the BMX stunts that were done in Rad were not done by Bill Allen. He was doubled, but it was done really well. So that when I finished watching Rad, I was like, oh, he was a really good biker, and he wasn't. It's like sometimes you could just double really well. And I think most of the stuff in this movie, most of the doubling is done really well, except when Alex becomes a teenage boy doing breakdancing during the final scene. The big dive through the air is someone else. There's actually a couple dancers.
Well, there's the main person, Maureen Jahan, who is her main dancer. I think I can spot her a lot, but I will say a couple things. So just A, I'm hyper aware of it, and B, I'm watching it on really good quality in year 2023. I don't think people watching this on VHS, and this movie is of course hugely popular on VHS, can spot that as much. And it's fine. I'm not like mad about it.
Also, her long hair going in front of her face, it all helps.
Lots of stuff. And again, I'm sure it was a calculated thing, but the way that a lot of the dance numbers are shot with this silhouette and stark and dark backgrounds and just spotlights, so that you're not seeing the details of her face at those moments.
Alex has a few bouts of having fights and being mad at Nick. One is when she spots him at the ballet with another woman. It turns out to be his ex-wife, even though he's like, why am I explaining myself to you? I feel like he should explain himself to her. I feel like an explanation is due, since he decided not to even tell her about it to begin with. He could have just said, hey, I'm going to the ballet and I'm just going to be there with my ex-wife. It's no big deal. He could have said that. People don't communicate in any of these movies. But I did like the scene when they fought in front of the lunch lady, and then when they made up the entire steel mill crew, like they cheered. They were like,
that teenage girl
in our office relationship,
that teenage girl we all work with is hooking up with our boss. I did. She throws the rock through the window of his massive house. We see how rich she must be. I wish they didn't do the thing of making the ex-wife and her one big scene an absolute shrew. They could have just been friendly. It seemed like that was what they were going for when we're still on the board of this thing together, so we went to the ballet. But instead she's just an awful person. She has to be.
She's awful to Nick. Nick's awful to her. It just feels terrible. And then it is another famous scene from the movie, the reveal of the shirtless under the sort of fancy tux top with only the front and the side boob and stuff like that, sucking on the lobsters, talking about fucking in phone booths. It's like another
foot on crotch,
edgy scene,
mm-hmm.
Made all the more uncomfortable by her age in the movie. But yeah, the other wife, who also looks very young, by the way.
Well,
he's got a type.
She, you know what? She used to be a welder.
Yeah, he's got a type. Underage and in my employ is what he's looking for.
It's very, very specific.
And then she gets mad. She does finally decide to fill out an application, but then when he calls in a favor and he lets it slip, something wrong, then she figures out that he got her the audition. She's mad about that.
I want to say that I do really like when she first gets the letter saying she has an audition. It's a fun and again cool looking scene where she's sort of celebrating with like all this steam and smoke. Again, this movie like sort of hyper stylized MTV sheen to it, but that was a really cool looking one. This movie, it's funny because it's like, I think this movie was, it definitely was. I've talked about when Patrick Willems on YouTube did the like, what's the most 80s movie of the 80s? And I know this was one of the in contention ones, and ultimately was Rocky IV that won. But this is a strong contender. And Rocky IV has always been like, oh, this is like all just music videos, but this is very similar. And this came first as far as like we're just the style and the constant montage,
the hit songs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's another weird line when they're having a fight, their second fight, which is like, you're not old enough to smoke, or you're not grown up enough to smoke. And I'm like, you have sex with her. What are you talking about?
Right.
It's crazy. I don't know if that scene was meant for comedy or not, or if he was actually trying to make a point. Eventually they make up, but not till like the very, very end, because he's waiting outside with flowers. But so,
well, we get the strip club stuff here, which is very late in the game.
She quit. It seems like she's quitting her job as a burlesque dancer when she's coming to get her stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she quit at the mill because she was mad at Nick. I don't know if she's quit and is like, I'm going to just audition. And if I don't, you'd think she wouldn't quit till after she got the position. But she's preemptively quitting, maybe so confident that she's going to win everyone over. I do like in the final scene that she fucks up and like starts like right away and then starts over. Because, that she messes up and you're like, oh no, just like Jeannie did.
And I do like, by the way, I mean, it's easy to joke about as well that what if she didn't get in? But I do like the don't show the very end of the performance, just cut to her running, the song still playing and her like kind of running out all, happy because we presume she did get in from that.
Well, it was, but then I think there's a movie. I think there is a version of this movie because it's ambiguous that you could say she didn't get in, but she tried. And she got the experience that she talked to her mentor about earlier about getting flowers after a performance, which is like, what if this was the only time Alex going forward in life ever got flowers after a performance? And she's just going to be a welder, man. Like, I think that's fine too. Someone goes for it, but that I do think
that's the Rocky version. I did what I could.
Yeah, the end was flat because I wanted. And even maybe it would seem ridiculous, I wanted those judges way more excited. We see a tapping foot at one point, and we see the guy dancing while still blowing his nose. Like he can't be bothered to not blow his nose, but he's going to dance too. I don't think anyone got out of their chair, right? Like,
right.
I needed the
woman from summer school, the secretary who somehow is in there. She should get out of her chair.
Yeah, because she's not an actual judge, Eric. She's the secretary. She's like, I can break decorum the way that the World Council can't. Yeah. So anyway, I think she got the position, but I think you could also see it as not. I could see it as bittersweet in a way, but she gets
the dog. Is this a Jacob's Ladder scenario?
It turns out
future Adrian Lyman.
She's actually died in Vietnam.
By the way, I put you mentioned it, so I also put in my notes that like the final confession scene, which is shortly before she does the audition. Yeah, it's so weird because she says like, I want so much, and then they cut away and it feels I wonder if it feels like a moment where she would have a monologue, like a more interior, like let's talk about her more, and then they're like, no, this movie's got to move
I'm just saying she wants so much, but I feel like a lot of people watching this movie now will think she has so much.
Right. You're 18. Look at
you can afford rent. You can afford this much square footage in an awesome place. You have 2 careers.
Right? You've made it happen.
Yeah. You have one that's like technically sound, and technically dependent on your skills, and another that's like allows you the artistic freedom to express yourself. You've got the best of both worlds.
Right. And you've got Michael Nouri.
You've got an old man who's rich, like. So I think Alex is doing pretty good.
She's doing good.
I don't think she needs this stupid ballet career. All right.
Flashdance, everybody. Flashdance. I mean, here's the thing. I did enjoy watching it. Like,
it's not a bad movie.
It's paper thin, but it's very like it looks great. She is, so charismatic and beautiful and just holds the screen. I really wondered watching it. It is very odd to me that Jennifer Beals didn't have a bigger movie career. I mean, she's consistently worked and she's been in a lot of things.
I think that's why I brought up Phoebe Cates and Mia Sara too. People I thought not who were just attractive and brunettes in the 80s, but like should have had a bigger going. Like I think Phoebe Cates had the best out of all of them, but
I guess because Jennifer Beals was the lead in a monster hit with this movie. So it is surprising. Like she's in The Bride a couple of years later, which is a Bride of Frankenstein retelling with her and Sting. But then all the stuff she does after is very small. Like I love Vampire's Kiss, but that's like a small little indie movie. So it's just strange that she wasn't in like more big studio stuff.
Well, she did like 3 movies of hers came out in 88. So like after The Bride, she apparently filmed a lot of stuff that just didn't come out for a few years. And I don't know. Maybe I don't know what her experience was in Hollywood, or why if people weren't giving her roles, or if she opted out of things, or how it worked. She continued to work, right? Like in a lot of stuff. She was just never in anything
last year.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was in heavy makeup in Book of Boba Fett, and she still continues to be in things that we watch. I know she was in the L Word, the Showtime series for many years.
And you I looked up I was like, did I review this? And it was you who reviewed a very good one and done season show, The Chicago Code, the Sean Ryan series that she was one of the
that was a good show.
A few years ago. I can't remember if you recommended, but I'll do a quick shout out to Devil in a Blue Dress.
Man, I was really close to I think I brought it up when I was talking about 90s noir independent stuff when I was doing
I think you mentioned
False Move.
I think you recommended One False Move, and that's why, because Carl Franklin. Anyway, people should check that movie out. It's really good. She's really good in it. I mean, it's everyone's good. Denzel Washington, Don Cheadle, everyone's great in that movie, and that's like kind of an underrated detective film you should check out.
I do wish that they had been able to go forward and do more movies with that character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I know that was the Walter Mosley books that Easy Rollins with that character. I know that there were plans to do more with Denzel, but it didn't work out, and that's a shame.
You threw me for a second because there were talks about a sequel to Flashdance, so you're like, more with this character. But you're talking about Devil in a Blue Dress.
That is also very, very surprising that Flashdance, even without Jennifer Beals / Jessica Biel coming back, they didn't just franchise it into another dance movie the way they did like Step Ups and stuff like that.
So
it is surprising where the class of Nukem High got 4 sequels, but Flashdance didn't. So
it was announced. I wonder if it'll still happen, because obviously the streaming like boom has fizzled right now. But not shocking when you looked at everything else they announced. When Paramount Plus was announced, and they announced we're going to do series based on everything that was a hit Paramount movie, basically, and that's the Fatal Attraction and Rise of the Pink Ladies. But Flashdance was on that list, and I've heard nothing about it since. But that was one of the ones they were going to do.
Remember how big Fame was? Now, I only bring that up because the person who sings What a Feeling also sang the Fame song, I believe.
Yes, I think you're right.
And
Fame
became a TV. I'm saying Fame became a TV show
that ran for a few seasons. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that before we go, because just to talk about the pop culture sort of imprint. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. It's going to hit me any second as we talk. I'd never seen this movie before, but what I did watch, Matt, when it first aired was It's Flash Beagle Charlie Brown. Did you watch that?
No, I have no idea. I mean, I can gather what it is, but I did not watch it.
Did you picture Snoopy in a gray sweatshirt and leg warmers?
Dating his older boss?
That's the only part that I don't think they included. But isn't that funny? Like, this was such a huge pop culture, and this R-rated, adult-aimed movie, such huge pop culture that in the spring of '84, not long after, it's Flash Beagle Charlie Brown, which also referenced, because Footloose came out at the very beginning of '84, and those movies very linked in my mind because it's like, dance oriented. They opened a few months apart, both huge hits. But
hit songs, yeah.
It's Flash Beagle Charlie Brown, my favorite of the Charlie Brown specials.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that should be our pick for next week. When we do 1984 movies, we'll do
supplemental. This was fun to watch. Again, it is bizarre. It's so bizarre because, like, obviously in this day and age, we talk about how, hey, it's rare that like adult aimed R-rated like dramas can even like make an impact at the box office. But this movie is just so weird because it's so sort of paper thin story wise. It was just the right movie at the right time, as far as like everything it was, portraying and about. And it is funny.
Her fashion became a look. That big sweatshirt became a huge look. All right. Jennifer Beals, Book of Boba Fett. Who was she on? I mean, like, what was her alien race on that? Didn't she have
she's a Twi'lek.
Twi'lek, yeah. Mm-hmm. I say Twi'lek, Madame Web.
I used to say that too. I said that too for many years until I was chastised by the Star Wars community.
Oh no, Jesus!
I was not.
They're such reasonable people.
I have a T-shirt with her on it that for her bar I bought at Star Wars Celebration. I was sad. Book of Boba Fett spoilers, guys, when they killed her off on that show, because I was happy.
She went out with a bang. All right. Until next time, when we talk about equally exciting movie called Krull, with an equally exciting set piece called The Glaive.
Yes.
Everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Shakma.
Shakma!